Hi there, welcome to another edition of Cyrils Brettspiele, Table Talk edition with Nils and Shawan.
Exactly.
And today we are going to take a look at a new game by Cryptozoic called Mod X.
That's very hard to say the name of the company, right?
Cryptozoic.
Yeah, very good.
They've been kind enough to send us a copy, so let's get to the table. Nils will go over the rules for us.
Of course. Let's start right with the rules. Mod X is an abstract strategic game, a little bit like Connect 4 or Tic-Tac-Toe, but the spice of this game is it's not a two-player game only, it's a 2-4 player game, and that makes this game very unique. So let's take a look at the rules, and the rules are very easy and simple to set up. You easily place this clear axes on the board, 5 of them random on the board. Then you start with a starting player by placing one of your axes onto the board. And then easily the next player's turn is to place exactly one additional X. The goal is to get a pattern out of 5 in a row, like this. And as you can see in this situation, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these clears are wild tokens. You can use that to your 5 as well. But instead of just making a row out of 5, you can also make an plus, like this is another pattern you can make, or you can make an X like this. All of these are legal patterns you can build. You can also build with this last piece 2 patterns in a row, which is this plus and this X. Once you did it, you replaced all your color X's with your own plastic thingies, like this. And the clear ones, here there's no one of these going, because this is not your, these are the points and this is not your point. And after that you can replace that to another position wherever you want. So the only thing is it's not allowed to make a full new pattern out of this. These are the victory points, and the game goes on with the next player until you hit a specific number of points. You see, it's very easy and very Connect 4-ish, but the spice on that game is that you have 3 or 4 players. And if you play that with 3 or 4 players, then it's a little bit of controlled chaotic, I would call that. So it's really out of your own control, but it's still a deeply strategic game. One really important rule, and that the last rule in the game, is once you build your pattern of this 5, for an example, on an existing point, you easily override that with your new color and take these points. So that means you can take away victory points from your opponents, and that means weaken a little bit your opponent. That only hurts him 1 point and gives you 1 additional, but if you're playing that with 3 or 4 people, that could be very important.
Okay, so thanks for that. Very nice summary as always. This guy's superstar material. Anyways, the component quality, what do you think?
Oh, yeah, that's awesome. So, I mean, it's plastic, and usually I'm not the biggest fan of plastic, but always, if I play that game, I play with this little crosses. It's cool. That's really cool.
It's all so, doing there. And what I making patterns and stuff.
Yeah, and what I really like is this board has some. Maybe you can see it. One of these plastic things, anti-rubber things under there. So it's very solid on the table, and yeah, we have this tablecloth here, but
you can bump it won't move.
Yeah, that's really good.
Unless
so yeah,
you wanna, then it might move a little.
There's nothing wrong with the components. Yeah, these things are really good. The only thing that is not perfect for me is if you put it in here, that's easy. But if you're not so experienced, then you can put it like this in here, and then it's really hard to get it out, especially with my big fingers. So yeah, but
can I use another one to scoop it out like this?
Yeah, but that's the only thing. So, and this is just a minor thing. Do you have any problems with the components? And the quality of the components?
No, I like it. At first, I saw the pieces and I thought maybe this would be a potential point for breaking the pieces, but it's actually pretty solid.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're actually stepping on it or something like that, I can't see how it would break.
Or if you have a 2-year-old little daughter, she's throwing
like
it.
She likes to throw them at me like ninja stars or something. I didn't even know
But
she knows
they
what
are
ninja
all
is.
still complete and still in good shape.
Yeah, I have no issues.
I have one very big positive point on that game for, yeah, we can call that components. It's a rulebook. The rulebook, and that's always, I'm pointing out if it's really good, comes into 6 different languages. So this is technically from the material language independent, but the rulebook comes in 6 different languages, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Build one game and everybody can play it, even if your friends coming from Europe, from...
There's only like 3 maybe 4 pages of rules, yeah. So,
yeah,
I mean, very
totally easy to learn, but still very helpful if there are tons of different languages in it.
Yeah, for sure. It's, what about the mechanics, like how it plays?
Yeah, as I mentioned in the rules, for me it's... I will always call that Connect 4 Plus. So it's...
It does have that feel to it.
It's a... Yeah, it's definitely...
Connect 4 kind of feel to it.
Yeah, for me it's a... okay, the X's are definitely tic-tac-toe stylish.
Yeah.
But it's for me always the feeling of Connect 4, and everybody played Connect 4 as he was a little kid, I guess. So
yeah, it was my favorite game when I was a kid.
And this is definitely the adult version of Connect 4 because there's more meat on it.
I like the addition of the multiple players. Like when you...
Oh yeah.
As a 2-player game, I think it's really cool. But I find that you can fall into the trap of, okay, well, you're going to go here, then I'm going to come and block you here, and then, well, then you have to counter, and it goes back and forth. You throw a 3rd player into the game, and then you kind of risk it going, you know, like a gang-up situation where 2 guys may be ganging up on one guy to block him.
You're a little bit
it can happen.
You're a little bit too fast. I wanted to point out exactly as well, but I wanted to start with this is just for me a Connect 4, and the plus brings in the 2 additional players because that makes the game from a very good and solid game to an outstanding game.
I think it really does do well when you add more players. I mean, it plays fine as a 2 and 3 player game, but 4 players, I think I like it the most. It's fun. It's a lot more fun. It's a lot more interesting. And like Nils was saying, controlled chaos, I think it's an awesome game.
It is, yeah. Oh, we are a little bit too fast with that. Anyway, okay.
Jumping ahead here.
Do you have any critical points on the game? Except for if you put that in and it's not really fitting in there, if you are too fast.
Yeah, I have a minor complaint, very minor complaint, and it's just the color choices that they used. I mean, you've got your, here. I mean, certain kind of light is okay. You can tell the difference between the pieces, but sometimes we go to this place to play our games with this group.
This is a German color. The German flag.
That's why he likes it so much. That's why.
Yeah, but I agree. If you put red and orange together,
it's very, very hard to tell the difference between red and orange,
especially
under certain light.
Especially if you play that at a pub.
Yeah, it's very hard. So the color choice, I'm not sure why they chose it. Maybe they were looking for a more retro kind of feel. I mean, it's a very minor complaint. It might get on some people's nerves. To me,
yeah, you're right. It's a little bit like the 80s, right?
That's what it feels like, yeah. Maybe that's what they were going for, but
never thought
personally,
about
I don't find it to be an issue. Just in certain kinds of light.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, I don't really have anything I can speak against the game. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's very near to perfect from the components, from the quality of the components, from the game itself. So
simple but very well polished.
Yeah. So, as I told you, my first initial idea was to say, oh, why plastic? So I usually not a big fan of plastic, but it's still, it feels good in your hand. So, yeah. Can't say anything about. Don't do it, come on. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the long lifeness of this game. Sounds crazy. Would you say the replayability of that game is really high?
Yeah, I mean, this is not a game where you have very specific objectives. It's just you can play it over and over again. I think the interest level is going to depend on who's playing and who you're playing it with. So you're playing with other people, your skill level, you can have a great time. Obviously, if you're playing against maybe your 5-year-old kid and you're beating him all the time, probably not that fun. But
yeah, I always compare that a little bit with chess.
Yeah.
So, and chess has no randomness in the game, so there's no random game setup or whatever. But it's always a good game and a solid game, and you always play it again and again and again. Why? Because you learn and you improve your own skills, and that's the same with this game. So you always try to make a better game than your last one.
Yeah, I agree completely.
So, and the fun comes, for me, the fun out of this game comes from the third or fourth player, when a little bit of chaotic comes into the game, and then this, hey, why you are blocking me and not Showan? So everybody knows Showan blocking is a very better idea than blocking me off, but yeah, sometimes they screwed me up. I have no idea why. So
you gotta be careful, because the winner can really sneak up on you. Like, they might have maybe 6 points. I think in a 4-player game you need 10 to win.
Yeah,
so
10.
You're thinking you have time, and then all of a sudden one move, and there you go. You just lost 2 points, which got the other player 2, and they won. It can sneak up on you. A couple of the things I really like about this, which make it a lot more interesting, is anytime that you score with these wild pieces, you have the opportunity to move them anywhere else on the board. Well, if one player can manage to make one of the 3 patterns with the clear pieces, then they instantly win the game. I've never seen it done.
That was my next question. Did you honestly saw that once?
I honestly can't see how that would happen, because
Me
that's
too.
very easy to notice.
Yeah.
I mean, the rule is in there, it must have happened, but I haven't seen it happen. I think it's very unlikely, but if you can do it, I guess that's how you win.
It must be very unlikely, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, there's one rule I forgot to mention about. That's also a very good thing to mention it right now. So I said the game is over if someone hit the specific number of victory points depending on the players. But it's also over if you're running out of these X's or of these plastic tiles. So then it's immediately over. And you count easily the points, and the player with the most points win. So you can also have the strategy of playing that again and on and on and on without hitting your goal of 12 points, or for example for a 3-player game, you easily stay with your 8 points and put more of these out because you're in the leading position. So maybe you have 10 or 11 points and you're in the leading position, then you are interested in bringing all your X's to the board.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, that's another interesting strategy, but honestly, in all of our test games, I would say
It's never happened.
No.
No. What about the jerk rule?
What is the jerk rule?
The jerk rule? I nicknamed it the jerk rule. Actually, I'll call it something else, but we gotta keep this PG. If it ever happens where maybe if you make a pattern on your turn, but you forget that you've made it, you are focused here, but you notice that maybe you ended up creating a pattern here. If you don't see it, by the time my turn comes around, I can point that out, and I immediately score it.
Skip that rule. These rules are stupid. I mean, I'm really solid in finding these out, so I'm pretty sure never ever this happened to me. I'm pretty sure.
Again, I think that's an unlikely situation, but it's there if it happens.
Yeah, but if play friendly, so and don't use it as against the other players.
Why not? You don't like the jerk rule?
Yeah, I hate it. I hate it. Yeah. Would you really like to win with that rule?
Oh, I think that would be hilarious.
Yeah, you. That's typical you, Showan. Okay, come on, let's go to the recommendation. Anyway, I start right away. So for me, it's definitely one of the secret highlights of this spring. For me, it's a highly recommendation. I really like it. It was a blast to see that game on the table. So once the game came into the mail, I thought, hey, what's that? So never heard about that game before, but no, playing it's pure fun. Highly recommendation from me.
Yeah, I think the same with me. I mean, it's a great game. It's light. You can bring it out, and I guess
Take
you can
your
use
orange
it as
access. Take it.
you can use it for a filler game, but I think it's. I mean, I find that when I play this game, it's usually 2 or 3 games in a row I play. It's not just one game. So you get into it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I haven't heard any complaint. Like everybody I've played this with, I've heard nothing but positive things. So
You're
it's definitely
always
one I would recommend.
You're always addicted. Just a recommendation, not a highly?
No, highly recommend.
Oh,
yeah.
So. Okay, yeah. I'm pretty sure that was our view of ModX. Do you have the box somewhere? Hey, show on, you got it. So that is our view on ModX, the new game from Cryptozoic.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah, and I hope you enjoyed again another episode of
Shawan.
and Nils Table Talk. And yeah, see you next time.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
I was so close to say it this time.
Nah, you forgot.
Yeah. Okay, bye.